Look at the proper development of these bulbs. Look at the uniformity. I am impressed. You can see straight from field. And I have the expert with me here. What's your name, sir?
My name is Symon Mwai. I work with the East Africa Seeds Agriscope Africa, as a group of companies.
As you've heard, I'm with Symon Mwai. I've been chasing him, cat and mouse. The reason I've been pursuing him relentlessly is the uniformity. You can just see for yourselves. Look at those onions. It is uniform all the way to the end. What variety is this?
This variety is called the onion lead sanga. Lead sanga is one. This is an onion variety for short day.
What is the difference of short day?
The short day and the long day means early maturity. So red sanga is an early maturity,
onion.
75 days.
75 days?
Yes.
Wow.
And it's meant for the hot area because onion have got different characteristics. They are big onions. Okay. Like this one you see, it is a medium big size onion. You find another one that is medium small. There is another one you find there's a big onion.
Big onion.
This one has two characteristics in terms of the sizes. Because when the farmer goes to the shop to look for an onion, that farmer will always ask, I want an onion that will mature within a very short time. I also want an onion that will survive in a very hot area. Another one will come and say, I want an onion that will survive in the coldest area. Those are the characteristics that divide the market.
I always insist a farmer should find ways of saving money in your pocket. First and foremost, that is by choosing the right seed. Choosing tolerant and resistant seeds. Is this onion tolerant or resistant to any disease?
Yes, when the breeder brings the product to us, there are so many other characteristics we look into, whereby that is now the disease resistance package and shelf life. There is the disease resistance package, of course, because there are onions that are not resistant. When you go to a spinach, you find the whitish behind the leaves. We talk of powdery mildew. But when you go to the onion, it is never a powdery mildew. We refer to it as downy mildew. For onions, this is highly resistant. Secondly, apart from now any other small crop management program that you have to do all through the crop cycle, it is highly resistant to others. Anything to do with fungal, when we talk of diseases, that is something to be treated from the farmer's point. If the soil is not good, a step should be taken to ensure the fungal issues are not there. For the onion to be affected on a fungal problem, it is either the seed was brought in with a problem or there is a problem at the farm. In the case whereby the farmer will confirm there is a problem in my farm, I planted your onion, like this small bed, you see 10 onions out of this plot have been affected by a fungal disease. That is not a problem from the seed. Possibility is from the soil. Because in a case whereby it has affected the whole crop, then we would say the seed was bad. When it comes to fungal, there is a procedure that we use, because from the nursery we have some chemicals. We use Agriwin 72WP, that is a fungicide for onion.
That will sort me out with dumping off?
All through. And secondly, the issue of now the cold temperatures changes, that will protect that product. You also accompany with a foliar, that is Vegimax, because foliar will serve the nutrition aspect. It helps the leaves to develop so that the roots will come out. In the process of the root being formed, then this bulb becomes bigger. There is now fungicide. There are those fungicides that are very effective at early stages, and there is an fungicide that is effective at these stages. Because you have to alternate. Remember, fungal or even any diseases happens according maybe to the climate around. Like now, we have always been here when it is raining and it is muddy. So in this case, we didn't have too much work to spray because the temperature is favorable. But now for the pest, the biggest threat to the onion is thrips.
Tell us, how can we keep thrips at bay?
We have a product that we call Magic 50EC. That is very effective to thrips. Then again, how do you discover there is thrips? You will come to these leaves, then you are going to do like this. You see how clean it is? There is nothing.
How will the thrips look?
For you to fight thrips is a very small insect. It's like a very thin something. To an extent, they look like aphids. When you open the leaves like this, you'll see them moving.
I did some variety earlier this year. Purple blotch messed me up. Is this tolerant to purple blotch?
Yep. I've just said that the origin of the seed determines what you'll be exposed to. And in this case, we advise farmers, there are two types of seeds, even for the onions. There are hybrids and there are other ones we call ordinary seeds, all the OPVs. When you talk of the OPVs, remember the OPV has no disease package that you are guaranteed of. And that is why if you do an OPV 500 grams and then you do a hybrid 500 grams, you will harvest 5 tons or 7 tons or 10 tons for the 500. But for the OPV, the same quantity, you might end up getting 2 tons. But the cost of production will be the same because you did 1 acre and you did 1 acre. So the rainbow is the same. We advise farmers now to switch to hybrid, and that is is why we have brought a very early maturity onion for the hot area.
I come and I get the seed from you, eh?
Yeah.
Seed rate, I'm using drip irrigation.
Yeah.
Recommended seed rate. I'm going to self-propagate.
To the farmer, the seed rate per acre will never change. If you want to do furrow irrigation, if we say 1 kg per acre is the rate, it doesn't matter, because what matters most is the practicability that is applied in the farm. Remember, if you do drip lines, you do 15 centimeters, that is the size of the drip line. Per hose, you normally do both, right and left. If you go to basin, you will always do the same spacing, manual, but that spacing of that bed, that basin, will have created a footpath like that. Like the same 30 centimeters has been left between the drips. So seed rate will never change whether you are doing it on basins, whether you are doing it on drip line. If seed rate per acre is 1 kg, it will remain kg. I normally tell farmers, between feathers and sugar, 1 kg, which one is heavier than the other one?
None.
So meaning 1 kg
bulky.
seed rate will always remain.
Recommended spacing for drip farmers, plant to plant is?
Should be 10 centimeters because it is normally between 8 and 10.
That is 10 square, 10, 10, 10. From this one to this one is 10.
Between an onion to onion is 8 to 10 centimeters.
Okay.
Between line to line should not be less than 15 centimeters because a farmer will waste a lot of space.
Yes.
Actually, the reason why we have given it a very big space for this, it is because we want to exhibit and to make the farmer understand.
Yeah. So
But you can imagine when you are doing it on drip line, then you have 15 here. The drip line is in between here.
Yeah.
So we are assuming this is the drip line.
Yes.
And you have got 2 onions aside.
Yeah.
So the drip line is in between. So the water, after now the drip line you irrigate, the wetness will go this way and this way. Meaning you will serve 2 onions at the same time.
Recommended emitter spacing, drip line,
Drip
hole
line-
to hole. Do you recommend 10 or 15 centimeters?
Hole to hole should be 10. But now we have service providers who does the drip lines. A farmer might decide to order a drip line from a certain company with a certain specific. So depending on the interest of the farmer might say to a supplier, I want you to install for me 1 acre of drip line and I want it on a 15 centimeter space. Because that farmer must have focused on big onion. Let me tell you why it is like that. Because if you look at these 2 onions, this one is big, this one is small, this one is big, this one is big, this one is small.
Yes.
So if you come to the practicability to this onion, what do you find? This one is almost the same. I've told you that Sanka is medium big. It is not medium small. So in this case, for the farmer to be favorable in the market, the farmer will require both. The farmer will require the big one and the small one. So if the farmer decides, I just want to have big onion, this space is what determines whether this onion will be bigger like this one. So if there were more space here, 8 centimeters between here, if we did it 15, this onion would have gotten a lot of space. That is why you find this one. And this one has not been planted yesterday at night. It has been here for the last 75 days. So between this onion, the big one, then this one is small, this one is big.
Yes.
So the space we gave in here, that is what gives the farmer competitive market. Because in most cases, the buyer will always look at, I want either big or small.
Tell a farmer how he or she is going to feed these onions so that first of all they're uniform in size and they're this size.
The big problem is that they have always depended on fertilizer alone. Doing fertilizer alone to the onion, you may not get the best because the soil fertility goes down, becomes poor. The minute you do fertilizer, then the fertilizer will be consumed within the shortest time. Remember, for those farmers who doesn't do manure, the soil itself loses the nutrients very fast because there is nothing to help the soil to hold any mineral. In such a case, if it is a 75 days onion like Red Sanga, point number 1, a farmer should plant with DAP. Within 2 weeks, come back again for top dressing. We recommend that the farmer should do the top dressing in 3 weeks. Because if you do with DAP, maybe within 2 weeks is when DAP will start being consumed by that. So you give it 3 weeks, you go with CAN and 1717 of whichever company. That is the first top dressing. Before you are 2 months, you are already done with the second top dressing.
Same.
No, CAN is not required much. So you need to do like 17, but nowadays we don't just say 17 because there are so many other breaded fertilizers with all that is required in the farm. In a certain case, we may say go for 17, but your farm has high nitrogen. So you don't need nitrogen. You might look for another. That is why we have been referring the farmer to come to you, to come to me before you make the decision on what are you going to add on your soil. We need to identify what is missing.
Do you recommend application of foliar fertilizers?
Yes. For this onion to be like this, even after doing manure and fertilizer, you are required to do the fungicide, the insecticides and the foliar. What is the work of the foliar in this case? Remember, the roots, for them to develop, there must be leaves. These leaves are the ones that encourage the forming of this bud. The fungicide will come and protect the diseases. Insecticide will come and prevent for the insects. But for the foliar, there is one that encourages this onion to consume the fertilizer that was in the soil. So the minute you apply foliar, don't do it like regularly. At a certain point, we are talking of 75 days onion. Then you do foliar every week. The possibility of having these leaves bushy. Farmers have been complaining, why do I have my onion? I planted it within the time. Harvesting date has already come. It just looks like a carrot. At some point, you just look at what is happening in the farm. You will see a lot of green leafy leaves. Remember, this is not a green punching onion. Ile tunapikanga nayo samosa.
Onion, eh?
In this case, foliar, you don't do regularly. At one point, you need to do like early stages. You do weekly when it is young. But the minute you are over 1.5 months, must be regulated according to the temperatures and also according to the requirements. And no foliar should be done when you have not done the base of fertilizers. Because base of fertilizers are the ones who determine what is the formation of the leaf.
With proper agronomical practices and proper management, how many tons can a farmer achieve?
The tonnage of every onion in every farm or even variety is determined by what the farmer is looking for. The variety is the one that has the information on what tonnage. For example, if you look at Lendi Sanga, we are talking of 25
tons.
High yield of 25 tons per acre. But if you go to another variety, like the one that goes for the coldest area, you might find 30 tons or 40 tons per acre. So the tonnage per acre is determined by the product.
So specifically for Red Sanga?
For Red Sanga, we are guaranteeing you that if you do as we recommend, you will get 25 tons. Remember, the seed rate per acre is 1 kg. Half an acre, you should plant 500 grams. For a quarter, you need to do 250 grams.
Do you have any other onion varieties around for today?
Yes, we have several varieties here. Onion beta.
Does it share the same characteristics?
It doesn't share the same characteristics. It might look like they resemble each other. They have got two different characteristics. Onion beta may go to the coldest and to the hot. But for Red Sanga is not for the cold, it's for the hottest. Then when it comes to sizes, if you look at these onions, the way we have planted, the same characteristics I've told you. Spacing is what is determining what do we want. When you are talking of medium size, you see, this is medium sized bulbs. We are not guaranteed to get a big bulb, but feeding determines. So this is our new upcoming variety called Red Crown. This is also for the hot area. And the reason why we do several varieties in the same place, it is because if we talk of Nyeri County, for example, there are some divisions in Nyeri County. So there is an area that feeds hot, an area that feeds cold, and there is an area that feeds moderate. We also have another variety, Onion Red Striker. This one is purely big.
I can see from the bulb, eh?
Yeah, the bulb can tell you it is purely big. This one will also require the hot area. But if you look at the size, it can tell you for sure if you are looking for a big onion, you can get it.
So this is for sale as of now?
This is already in the market.